What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to UTL Trucking Education Hub podcast. I'm your host, Tamaris Massengale. Let me ask you this. How many good truck drivers never make it past their first year? Not because they don't qualify or they don't have the passion or that they're not even capable, but simply because nobody prepared them for the mental side of this industry. The long nights, the missed family events, the difficulty backing up situation, the self doubt, the moments when quitting feels easier than pushing through. The truth is this: every experienced driver once was a rookie who was thinking about giving up too. The difference is they didn't. Today's guest has built community around encouraging rookie truck drivers to keep going, keep learning, and keep believing in themselves no matter what the obstacle may be. So, whether you are a new CDL driver or an experienced driver or someone thinking about entertaining the idea of getting into the industry, this is the conversation that you do not want to miss. So, before we jump in, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get to the trucking truth. Today's guest is someone who's using her platform to inspire the next generation of truck drivers. Known to thousands online through her Come With Me trucking community, Cherry Henderson has made it her mission to encourage rookie truckers not to quit, no matter the obstacles that they may face. Through her content, she shares the real highs and lows of life on the road while reminding new drivers that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Today, we're talking about what it's really like during your first year in trucking, overcoming fear and self doubt, navigating the challenges of life on the road, and why resilience is one of the most valuable skills a driver can develop. Please help me welcome Cherry Henderson to UTL Trucking Education Hub podcast. Cherry, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I love that introduction. This was I was so I know they're probably looking like because I'm staring at you because I'm just like, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for the introduction and thanks for bringing me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I have been a fan of you for a while. I love how real you are, authentic you are. And believe me, guys, who she is on social media is who she is off the camera. She is real. She is down to earth. Cherry, if you could just share with us a little bit, tell us how you got into the industry and who you are. Who is Cherry? What are you about?
Well, first, I'm Cherry. I'm from High Point, North Carolina. Pretty boring. One of my favorite things to do is drive and listen to music, which is how I got into trucking because I was trying to find a space where it would be a good career for me that wouldn't feel like technically a job, where I would feel excited to get to work and it wouldn't be like a burden to me. And when I was 24, I actually looked into trucking, but I had to get a lot of things in order. I didn't know about the licenses, the permits, the schooling, the classes, where to find these places at. So it took a nice little while for me to get into it. Then I ended up getting married, having a daughter, which kind of set me down a little bit more. But once I turned 30, I think 34 is when I really dove deep into it. And I looked into different schools, community colleges, different private schools. I actually even reached out to some companies because a lot of people go through a company, they will pay for your schooling as well. However, it is not free. Don't ever mistake that, guys. Trust and believe. You're going to pay for that back once you sign on to them. Now, it is a good thing because you'll get a free year of experience with them. Not technically free, but once you finish school, you'll be guaranteed a job. And I've noticed a lot of times when people come into it, that's one of the biggest issues because that was one of my biggest issues, finding a company that will take you. with no experience, you know? So that's one of the benefits of going through a mega company, allowing them to pay for it. But know that once you're finished with them, with your 6-week course or your 2-month course with them, they're going to take money out your paycheck, or they're going to start you at a lower totem pole, whereas most drivers there may be making 55 cents or 65 cents. Heck, some of them make even 70 cents per mile, but you'll be starting out with maybe 32 cents, 30 cents. I've even heard on the lower end of like 29 cents. You know, so it's gonna set you back. But I ended up taking the other route, which was community college. And I know that some people aren't gonna get lucky with this because I actually posted this on my page, and a lot of people were saying that their community college charged a lot more. But I was blessed on that end. I went to Central Piedmont, and my course was only $700. And yeah, it was only $700. Know if they had a special going on or what it was, but it was literally $500 I paid, and technically $500 for the course.
Mhm.
And then, you know, you had to pay for your DOT physical, which was 75, and then your DOT urine sample drug test, which was 75 as well. And once I finished the course, I kid you not, not even 2 weeks after, I got a check in the mail for $700 for the course. So technically, it was free. Yeah, it was. I really feel like that was the universe saying,
Yes.
"Here you go. Yes, this is for you." So that's exactly how I got into trucking.
That is so much to unpack, but just so much motivation and just that entry point. Like, man, just to hear how you had a desire at one point and then life happened and then it was put on pause for a moment, but you still had the desire for it and you took the initiative to go back and research how you can actually make it come into fruition. So, man, that's I hope that's encouraging to you all that are listening that, if it's something you really want to do, there's nothing stopping you but you. So, check into your local community colleges and see what programs they may offer or how they can support you with that. Definitely check into your local workforce development facilities or your unemployment facilities. They help with that as well. But definitely don't give up. Don't give up. So, with that, that's a great segue into my next question, which is what was the one thing that just kept you going? Like you didn't quit. You gave a time span with like almost 10 years
Mhm.
that you
Yep.
had desire and then you went back and you researched. So, what just kept motivating you, kept pushing you?
Well, one of my biggest fears was growing old and, you know, becoming 60, 70, 80 years old and thinking that to myself, what if I would have tried harder? What if I didn't quit? And that's something I never ever want to live with as I get older. I want to know that whatever it is I want to do, I actually put forth the effort, because what will break your spirit down more is wondering what would have happened if I only would have tried. So that's what kept me motivated, and not just deciding to myself, okay, just forget about it. Let's do something else, or let's just go get a regular job and let it be. That kept me motivated, you know? And just seeing trucks drive down the highway, it kept it in my not only in the front of my brain, but in the back of my brain. Like it was always in my mind. So that's what kept me focused and not quitting. And then I had spent so much money in getting my license together. I wasn't paying all this money just to drive a car. I'm like, no, we're going through with this, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love that. She was like, "Look, I done invested money and time, and neither one of them are gonna be wasted." So,
exactly.
yeah.
That was that.
So what inspired you to create Come With Me Trucking?
Tell you something, and this is so crazy, right? Because it was in my mind to record content. And one day I got an Uber ride, right? And I can't remember where I got an Uber ride to, maybe to go pick up my car or something of the sort. So it was a young lady who was in there and she was doing content. And I was telling her, how you and your Uber driver, they started having conversations with you.
Right.
And I was telling her, that I was going to school for trucking and things of that nature, and that I was going to start vlogging, creating content around it. And I kid you not, she said, "You're going to do phenomenal in this." And she was like, I'm like, "I can't think of something to name it." And she said, "Name it Come With Me Trucking." I'm like, "Get the freak out of here." You know what I'm saying? So that was just like, whoa, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that was my centerpiece, and it covered everything under the map, you know?
Yeah.
because I didn't want to create just one particular page and one particular topic, and then it keeps me stuck under there and I can't grow.
Right.
So
Yes.
I felt like that title, Come With Me Trucking, it covered the entire umbrella of trucking. Whether I went to just driving, whether I went to hazmat, tanker, flatbed, it covered my beginning journey, it covered orientation, it covered my challenges, my difficulties, like it covered everything. So that's what brought that into fruition.
That was brilliant because you everything that your experience is not just centered in one aspect of trucking. Like because the one that really just stuck out to me, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but I just have to bring this up is when you were giving that advice to women about protecting themselves.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm very passionate about, as far as this industry is a lot of young women are getting into this industry and these young women are presenting themselves in a way that they are not conscious. I want to
Mhm.
say I don't want to badmouth them. I don't want it to seem like because I never wanted to grow up and be one of those old women that start talking bad about the young girls because my figure then evaporated. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to make me 50
Hilarious.
year. Listen, I'll be 50 this year, so
You look great.
I'm done over that, okay? It is what it is. I'm like a bag of chips. You open it up and it's halfway gone. Do you still want to eat them or not? Like, well, we ain't gonna argue about that, okay? I'm not gonna do all that extra. Anyway,
Right.
take it or leave it, bro. Anyway, but I fear for a lot of these young women that is on this road that they are not conscious or knowledgeable of the dangers that are truly on that road, not just for women, but for men too.
Mhm.
There are, it's when you're out, when you're doing OTR over the road, you have to understand this is not it's regulated, but it's not what I'm trying to say, like your past, like, most
Yeah.
of places, if you're unless you are a driver, for a company, then and that might be their business policy to do a background check. But if you're an owner operator, you don't necessarily have to worry about nobody checking your background. And I don't want anyone to be fearful of what I'm about to say next, but it's the truth and no one talks about it. And
Mhm.
then we have situations where women are coming up missing or unalived and, no one knows anything because there are some not well people that are in this industry, just like others, but it's more saturated because think about it like this, you're in a moving vehicle. 9 times out of 10, no one is questioning a truck driver except it's DOT, you know?
Bingo. Bi
One is question a truck driver, but if
Yep.
you looking a little weird or, a little strange, 9 times out of 10 people just walk right past you. They don't, they're not looking at you. So I say that to say this, that, you know, um, I loved what you did and I would just like you to share, why it was so passionate for you.
Well, it was a very passionate topic for me because just to touch bases on what you said, you're out here free balling in a sense. Nobody knows where you're at. Nobody's paying you any attention. At times, you're going to cross anywhere from, I'd say, 40 to 60 counties in a day, 3 to 4 states in a day, 15 to 30 cities in a day, in one 10-hour drive.
Right.
So many things could happen to you in that time frame. Some places you may go, you may not even have a safe truck stop. And then depending on times where you may start driving, by the time you get to the truck stop, it's completely filled.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for you to park. So you may have to park in these obscure places, places that aren't truly safe, very dim lighting, things of that nature. And you're putting yourself in harm's way. And I don't think people realize how frightening, how dangerous trucking can be. Like you said, not just for women, but for us as a whole. And there's so many, if people actually just take the time and look online, you'll see how many truck drivers come up missing every other day. How many people women who have been unalived and taken captive by truck drivers. You know what I mean? So not only are you have to be in fear of outsiders who are in your truck, but you may have to be cautious of the other truck driver who's parked beside you. And it's imperative that women know this. So, I would tell them, why are you getting outside your truck at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night
Right.
with your ass falling out your shorts? These low crop top t-shirts and, or you getting out the shower, coming out, and you all over the place. You running your mouth. You're talking to people. You have no idea who these people are. It's like it's given, are you a lot lizard or are you a truck driver?
Done. The interview's over. The interview's over. We're done. We're done. She said, "Are you a"
Yeah, because a lot of times it's given that I've seen so many women like that. I'm just like, are you serious? And then if someone approaches you in a way, you're like,
that part.
I'm not. But you're like my grandmother always said, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And granted, I don't want anybody to take this out of context into where I'm saying that women shouldn't be free to be themselves without having to worry of someone taking advantage of them.
Right.
And you're right. We should be able to do what we please and wear what we please, but this is the world, and we are surrounded around humans who take advantage of people who like to do what thou wilt.
Right.
So it's like just be safe, be aware of your surroundings, cover yourself. You're not out here to find a man. You're out here to get a chick. And fellas, you're not out here for the BS either because you don't even know who you just picking up in the truck lot.
That's right.
Her boyfriend could be over there, and as soon as she hop in the truck with you, he walk over, she open the truck door, and nobody ain't even studying you. Your truck done been out there for 5 days. Those people who are in the Love's truck stop, they ain't coming out there checking on you. This is normal.
That's right.
You done been unalive for 5 days and behind some nonsense. So that's why I speak so much about safety.
That's right. I mean, I have my own story in regards to that. When I had my trucking company a couple of years ago, one of my drivers was indulging in illegal activities, right? I was a green thumb to the whole industry as a whole. So of course I
Right.
about doing background checks and, just I never went out and met the driver, I was just trusting the process,
Yes.
and this was a good driver or whatever. Anyway, long story short, so I had someone that was during that phase when everybody was starting your trucking companies for you, and they'll get the drivers, they get the truck, and all you gotta do is invest.
Yep.
Well, so yeah, I was one of the ones that got. Anyway, so I never met the driver or nothing like that. So she was doing good for a long period of time. She was, on time, no problems or whatever. So unbeknownst to me, the truck itself had disappeared for 3 days. But the people that was running my truck didn't tell me until the fourth day. They knew it was missing for 3 days, but the fourth day is when they told me. And when they told me, they were just like, "Yeah, we haven't heard from your driver and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, it's been 3 days." "What do you mean it's been 3 days? And y'all just now calling me?" So,
Right.
long story short, fast forward, missing, a whole lot of drama in between. They did a well check, and unfortunately, this person was discovered unalive.
Wow.
So they were using drugs, and because of that, they were unalive. But that to your point earlier that,
Mhm.
those loves, they're not coming out,
Uh-uh.
no other driver is going to be saying, "Hey, the driver been sitting there, for 2 days," or everyone is in focus in their own lane, and it's important that you keep open communication. Even though people get annoyed with freight dispatchers constantly checking in, where what's the ETA, what's the ETA, but it's also a form of well check, making sure that, "Hey, are you still good out there?
Mhm.
Did something happen? Do I need to send somebody to come look for you?" So on and so forth. So safety is definitely key, not just for women, but for men. And especially, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. If you're melanated, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 because some of
Yep.
these states still have sundown states.
Very
And
much so.
you need to make sure that you are understanding what states you shouldn't really be getting comfortable in. If you can, plan your route that you can pass on through, or if you have to stop in a safe area. I'm being 1,000%. It's unfortunate that, it's been a couple of people that have been found, on a tree,
Yes. Yep.
or, something weird has happened to them, but has been unalived, and still there has not been any justice for that person, because no one can even tell you. So making sure that you have proper lighting, even if you got to get like the mechanic lights, even if you got to put that light on the outside of your own window, you know what I'm saying? So the person that's trying to creep up on you, that, they 9 times out of 10 that may prevent them from doing so because they're like, I'm up underneath this light. Or making sure that your cameras are visible. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that, you know, uh, you showed how to, in one of your videos, you showed how to take the seat belt and lock it around
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
because I don't think a lot of people know this, and you talked about this in one of your videos, is that, I think you said either you got locked out or somebody else got
Yeah,
locked. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, tell
I
that
got
story.
yes, I got locked out. I was at a Love's truck stop, and I ended up locking my key in the truck. And just so happened, I was working at Pam, and another Pam transport driver was pulling in. And I was so happy, but I was freaked out at the same time after he was able to, because I'm like, "Hey, stuck his key in my car door, stuck his key in my truck door, opened my tractor, I got in, I went on about my way." Now, I was elated that Pam transport driver
Right.
pulled up and let me in, but it also got my left side of my brain thinking,
That's right.
if he can open my truck door to help me, anybody else who's driving this Freightliner or working for this company can open my truck door, and they could bring harm to me. Which is why I would always tell people, when you get in this truck, take that seat belt, wrap it inside the arm where you close the door at, wrap it in there, pull it back around, lock it inside. So even if they do open that truck door, it'll give you enough time to realize, like, because sometimes when you sleep, I don't
Yeah.
know about nobody else, but it take me a minute to get my brain working.
Right.
So, imagine somebody
Yeah.
just jumping in and you just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on?" So, if that was to happen, it'll give you enough time to get yourself together, get to the front, and,
Right.
prevent things from going any further. So,
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up, because people don't even recognize that if you drive a Freightliner and I drive a Freightliner, I can open your tractor trailer door. If I work for the same company as you, I can open your truck door, baby. It is only Freightliner, International, Cascadia, and International. Yeah, International. I think I might say that, but it's four of
Yeah.
them. Might be missing one of them. But you can get in there. And I know some people like to say, "Oh no, it does. That's not true." Listen to me. You see me online. You see I actually drive trucks. A lot of people who make these comments have never even seen the inside of a tractor trailer. So take this from someone who actually knows this and has actually had this happen, and just be safe.
Yeah. No, I know I when I saw you, I was like, "Dang, that is so true," because I have a lot of, family members and friends that have been in trucking, and that's what they used to tell me is make sure that, you're telling your drivers to make sure that they have protection. Now, I haven't done my research on it yet, so that's why I haven't made a post on about it, but I have heard from a DOT inspector that depending on the state that you can have a pew pew, right?
Yes,
It cannot be visible. But if so you shouldn't be doing anything where DOT need to come up in your cab anyway, right? So 9 times out of 10, if DOT pull you over, they just want to see your cab documents. That's it. They don't want to come inside your cab. But
thank you.
heard. I have not verified that, and please, if you watch this video, verify with your state. And I think I keep putting harping on that fact that DOT, even though it's one entity, but each
Huh.
state operates differently. So you need to verify with your state and the states that you frequent what their rules and regulations are for on the road. But what's that saying? I can't never get it right, but it says I rather be judged by 12 than carried by 7.
Everybody see.
6,
Yep,
carried by
yep.
6. So let that resonate in your spirit. I rather, as a woman, I rather for me to just have to say, "Hey, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I acknowledged, and this person decided it was a good idea for them to come up in here in my space. So I did what I had to do." I'm not advocating for anyone to be walking around with no crazy itinerary in they but I am saying, hey, what I don't care if it's a jack, I don't care if it's a hat, whatever,
Yeah,
especially being melanated, while you on that road, be safe. You got family and friends that's depending on you to come home. You gotta do what you gotta do. So
that's the truth. And just to back you on what you just said, because what you said is the truth. DOT does not have any FMSCA has no rules against a driver carrying their pew pew with them. It is state regulated, but like you just said, DOT is never going to be a day in your life where DOT is going to get in your truck and check it unless you have put someone in danger, you've been drinking alcohol and they're coming to check, or things of that nature. But outside of that, when they come to the door, only thing they want to see is that DOT, your CDL. And they used to want the medical card, but now the medical card is attached to your CDL
hey,
in the computer system. So they'll see that. And then their only other rule is that when you're driving, you have the ammo to on the right side of the truck or whatever side. You need to separate the cargo cartilage from up under there. Have the head one place and the other place and the other one in another place. And you're totally fine. But 10 times out of 10, there's never gonna be a time where that's gonna happen. And as long as you have a concealed carry, the only place you would end up having any issue is New Jersey. Even New York recognizes the concealed carry license. Is the CCW is recognized everywhere. But like you just said, what is the chances? Because I've went to New Jersey, and since I've been driving, I've never not once been OTR without my best friend with me. And I've went through every city and state on the east side you can come in contact with. I've never had any issues. As long as you're not out making a spectacle of yourself, hopping out with it and wanting
Yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
seen and all of this other nonsense,
right.
how would anybody even know that you have that with
That
you?
part.
They wouldn't know until it's time for you to, well, you know,
Right,
you
right.
ain't know till I got the pot. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
So
Exactly, exactly.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, you're 1,000%, and it shouldn't be, it's sad that we have to say that, but there is somebody that's gonna watch this and take it completely out of context and say, Cherry and Tamaris are talking about I can have my pew-pews, and I'm on social media, I'm at the hub right now, bro, that's not what we're
Don't do
saying.
that. That's
We
not
are
what we're saying.
we are
Please don't
saying
get yourself in trouble.
please, cause I ain't got no money, and all you gonna get if you sue me is this Frenchie, and he
You
like a human being, okay? And
That's it, baby.
yeah, that's all you
I'm
gonna get.
balanced back.
I ain't got nothing, but I do want you to be protected, especially if you are melanated and or a woman out there by yourself. Now, we're not saying don't get out the truck at 8 p.m., but if it's preventable, if you can do what you need to do in a bright day, in a lit day, 9 times out of 10, the truck stops aren't going to be as full during the day because everybody's on the road. But when after dark, then everybody, of course, is going to be full because everyone's pulling over resting. So if you could try to, and that's why it's important to learn how to trip plan, right? How to
Okay.
plan your road trip. I mean, how to plan your load from point A to point B. Freight dispatchers, learn how to trip plan, right? Yes, it's the driver's responsibility, but this is how you make yourself where nobody wants to leave because you're doing over and beyond,
Yeah.
So it's simple little things. There's even a website, I can't think of it right now, that you can go on and it will actually help you with that. Planning your trip. So you know where the stops are. So you can calculate your time and make sure that you're stopping in the daytime at a safe location to get your bath in, to get your snacks, whatever the case may be. Right. So, with that being said, I want to go on to the next question, which is why do so many new drivers quit within the first year?
To piggyback on a conversation we had when we first got started, they come in with bright-eyed and bushy tail, and all they can think about is the money. "Oh, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna be able to do this." They never once think about what is life like gonna be on the road. They're gonna miss their families. They're gonna miss all the engagements. You went from living in North Carolina where we clear out the whole city, Walmart, where we have a half an inch of snow. Now you're in Ohio where snow is up to the top of people's cars and they outside
Right.
moving and shaking. You know what I'm saying? And you like, what is going on?
Right.
And you having to manage these things, you have to learn how to trip plan. Like you just said, a lot of people, they think, okay, I'll just get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll start driving, not realizing you got to drive for 10 hours. By the time you stop, like we just mentioned, all the truck stops are filled. So you'd be better off driving at night. Little things like that, not being able to plan their showers, not knowing how to get free showers, you know, uh, getting your paycheck and you've driven 3,500 miles this week. Your check $750. You're ready to box everybody who you come in contact with
Yep.
because you don't have no idea this company you just went through paying for your CDL. They want their money back. Or even if you just came fresh in, like I did, and I didn't owe anybody any money, they're taking a big chance on you. You have no idea how to trip plan. You have no idea how to really back. I have no idea how to navigate. So your money they're not giving you as many loads. They may have you sitting 2, 3 days, you know what I mean? They're giving you the bottom of the barrel loads that the senior drivers don't wanna touch, so it's an equivalent, it's pretty much a combination of missing out on your family. You're missing out on so many different engagements. Your mom's sick, your kid's sick, your daughter just graduated, her birthday just came. You ain't really making no money like that. You're feeling like your dispatcher playing with you. You don't really know how to navigate. You having trouble backing in at these shippers and receivers. They're disrespectful to you. Nobody really won't give you any navigation, any help. You don't even know how to navigate yourself. You're still using a Google map when you need to use the Hammer app. Oh,
Right.
you know what I mean? So it's just a
Right.
combination of all of those things, and that makes them feel to themselves like, "Wait a minute, something's wrong with me. I'm
Right.
not doing something right. I'm
Yeah.
not good at this. I'm failing at this." When in actuality, you couldn't be furthest away from failing. We all went through that. We just didn't quit. So many nights, if people only knew that I got off the phone with my mom and she said, "How's everything going?" "It's going great. It's going fabulous. I'm having a time of my life. I'm enjoying it." And when I hang with the phone, "Oh my God, I'm getting the fuck out of here. What did I don't know what is wrong with me, but I can't go back. I can't fail. I put too much into it." That's what kept me going. I refuse to go back and tuck my tail, because when you get your CDL, people look at you like
You own. Yeah, yeah.
the Walmart. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against Walmart workers. But they gonna be looking at you like, "Oh, you couldn't cut it?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Whole time they don't know you out there fighting for your damn life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have no idea you couldn't cut it. So I think that's why most people end up going and just saying, "You know what? This ain't for me. I'm going back home." And they quit just before things get good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree 1,000%. So, in your opinion, how long does it take before you start feeling like, I got this or I'm comfortable?
Would say give it a good 90 to 60 days. Once I got to my 60-day period, I had one hand on the steering wheel. Was chilling, I was backing, I was doing my thing.
Yeah.
I knew how to navigate. I knew which apps to use. The Hammer app, which is one of my favorite, because as you're going down the highway, it tells you the bridge heights. It tells you the truck stops that you're coming in passing. Because most people, when you think of truck stops, you think of Loves, Pilots, TAs. But there's other minor truck stops, other truck stops as well, who are truly large truck stops, but
Okay.
you wouldn't have any idea. But Hammer helps you navigate it as you're coming down the highway. They'll tell you it's 5 truck stops coming up, tell you the names where they at so you can choose it. That after I was able to get down how to trip plan, how to manage my showers, how to manage my food, which took me about 90 days to 6 months. After that, I was pretty much pretty good. I knew how to navigate the different states, different height bridges, because New York was one of the craziest places I ever been to, because when you coming down the highway, the bridge could be 13, 16 in the middle, or 15, 16 in the middle. But on your right, on your left and your right side, it's 12'6".
What?
So if you aren't paying attention, you can run straight into the right side of that bridge because it say 12'6". But all you're looking at is the middle of the bridge where it say 13'6". But you didn't see the left and the right side where it say plaster 12'6", 11'6", 10'6". I had that almost happen to me in New York, where I literally, it was my first time visiting, and I literally had to stop in the middle of the street because it bombarded me. I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute. This should say 12'6". I'm 13'6". Then I see my GPS is bringing me this way.
Yeah.
So it's like, "Wait a minute, why are you bringing me this way?"
Yeah.
This is where you have to use both sides of your brain. Then I'm looking, I'm like, "Oh, that's how I learned. It is a 13 9-foot bridge, but it's just 11 on this side and it's 12'6" on this side. So I need to go through the middle. I need to get out of the right lane. I need to get in the middle of the lane." So it takes you a while to know these things, because let's be clear, your trainer ain't gonna tell you nothing unless you was just so happen to get me as your trainer.
Right.
And I'm breaking it down to you because I don't want you out here on the road with me and you don't know what you're doing.
That's right.
So it takes about 6 months, and then about 90 days to 6 months, and baby, after that, you'll be rocking and rolling. The only thing you'll be worried about after that is finding you a job to where they'll pay you like you weigh.
Wow. Man, that
Yeah.
was a free game right there. I hope y'all took notes. Pay attention to those numbers, okay? Because it makes
Yep.
a difference.
It
Uh,
does
it
a
makes
big
if that's the
difference.
worst thing you wanna do is tear up a bridge or a light pole or 'cause baby, you gonna eat that. You gonna
Oh,
eat that
baby.
soy sauce, trust me.
Your career is over.
Yeah,
3 things you wanna stay away from in trucking is messing around and failing that damn DOT drug screen, flipping that trailer over, and hitting a fucking bridge. Those things, you might be able to maneuver if you get caught on your cell phone, you might be able to talk your way out of it.
yeah,
But if you fail that DOT drug screen, you get put in that SAP program, you flip that trailer over, or you hit a bridge, because what all of those say is you ain't being safe and
mhm,
you ain't paying attention. And getting fired for a safety issue, people don't know. All of this goes on. You remember in high school when they used to say this going on your permanent record?
right, yep,
Baby, trucking put put a red stamp on it. Whatever you do, how many other jobs you had, what you did at that job.
yeah,
And some companies might keep you on and let you rock through. Okay, we'll keep you. We ain't gonna trip. Insurance says it ain't a big deal right now. And you thinking I'm cool.
yeah,
When you leave this company, you go to the next company, ain't gonna say, what happened on December 31st where you flipped the
right,
trailer over?
yep,
You like, what? How the fuck you know that?
right,
You didn't think that company documented that? So those are
right.
things you gotta be careful about.
Another thing too, a lot of people don't know, and I learned the hard way, and I just learned this with one of the guests I had that is a DOT compliance person, which is that CSA score, it follows you. So you think you're gonna quit one job and go to another job, and that person hires you,
Yep.
and now their insurance is gonna skyrocket because you done brought this nasty CSA score over here. And what people don't know is if you hired that person that has a horrible MVR and CSA score,
Mhm.
and you hire them, they stuck on your DOT, your authority for 2 years. So that means for 2 years, you gotta thug it out. That means
Wow.
insurance gonna be sky high. That mean that brokers probably not gonna wanna work with you. So you people don't know that. The DOT person told me this. I was like, "What?" I had no idea, and because it started
Mhm.
making sense when I had my trucking company, and at the beginning, it was like butter, I was with Amazon, I was flowing, I had loads, and then I hired a driver that
Mhm.
I didn't know to do my due diligence and really verify him, and something in my spirit kept telling me like this medical record wasn't legit. But
Okay.
anyway, long story short, come to find out he had, a record, and I couldn't figure out after I fired him why now it was challenging for me to get lows. Well,
Yeah.
that's why it was because I had that driver and he brought that score over to my authority. And so when brokers were researching my authority, they don't see that I fired him. They just see
Yep.
that, and brokers don't take time to tell you that, "Oh, I'm not messing with you because I saw this." They just don't, they just ghost you. They're not gonna call you back. They just gonna ghost you, right? So, yeah, it's man, this is what people don't understand. Yeah, you can become a millionaire in this game, but it's
Yep.
because it's so many loopholes. You gotta deal with fraud, you gotta deal with, theft, you gotta
Yep.
deal with, non-communication, it's a lot you gotta do. It is not for the weak. If you somebody that's thinking it's just gonna be organized and all you gotta
Yep.
do is get a load board or you gotta hire a dispatcher and you in the game, baby, don't do it. Don't do it. Save your money and your time because it's a heck of a lot more. It's a lot more mentally. And if you don't have the capability to exercise your emotional intelligence, meaning if that driver call is snap off on you and talking out the side of their neck to you, and
Mhm.
you personally have not done anything to them and you are returning that energy, then this not gonna be for you. You're
Nah.
gonna have to be able to let them vent, go through whatever they're going through, and then when you see a moment when they can breathe, then you can intervene and find out what the issue is. But trying to match energy, and I keep putting emphasis on that because that is the culture now. Everybody wanna, oh, who she thinks she talking to? I'm talking to you. I really wasn't talking to you, but since you asked me, now I'm gonna check you because now
Yep.
who do you think you are? And we all need to be asking ourselves, who do we think we are anyway?
We are.
Like, who are you?
Right.
Really, who are you? Like, you really you ready to catch these hands behind a miscommunication? or go to jail or because you thought I said something or I said it the incorrectly way or whatever the case may be. But this industry requires you to exercise emotional intelligence and to be able to problem solve on the spot. So that's my next segue into mental health and being confident. And how important do you believe it is for that to be a part of your mindset? Just having the confidence to be in
Mhm.
this industry.
Well, to be honest with you, mental health is going to be 97% of what it's going to take to be out here because a lot of times everything is all over the place. And a lot of times you don't even know your dispatcher is 19 years old. He just got out of high school. He
Right.
probably even know how to wash his ass, but he telling you what time you need to be here. He calling you, asking you, your broker. She worked full time as a manager at Walmart. She don't know what the hell she got going on. Like,
Exactly.
these shippers and receivers, they've been dealing with drivers all day. They annoyed, they aggravated. I told you to park here. You park here. You didn't open your door. Matter of fact, you supposed to be in here at 7:01. It's 7:03. We ain't taking you. Go about your business. Just drove fucking it took me 2 days to get here. And you said it's 7:03. Man, put your hands where my eyes can see. You gonna have to know how to. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Can I bring it back in a few hours? Can I come back? You gonna have to learn how to manage people who are dealing with mental health issues, along with managing your own mental health issues because you're in a whole nother state. Ain't flip out, baby. What bail bonds ain't even finna touch you. You in California, but you from North Carolina and you drive trucks. You gonna have to sit your court date. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and even with
The
dealing.
street. Tell them. Oh,
Seriously, you're gonna have to really recognize what you're out here for. And even at times when you're frustrated, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling overstimulated, you're feeling unheard, even worse, feeling disrespected. Because so many people throw their lives away because they felt disrespected. When at some point in time you have to think about it. I'm not the first person this shipper saw today. I'm not the first person this receiver saw today. I'm not the first person that this loves attended saw today. They done dealt with thousands of people days. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of the equation and say, wait a minute, this ain't even about me. I don't know them. They're not upset with me. This is other frustration, that they have going on, whether it be from work, home, family, relationships problem. Everybody is going through things out here. So your mental health is going to be imperative for you because if you don't learn how to process these things and when you process them, don't allow them to fester inside your spirit. You have to be able to assess it, talk it out with yourself, and let it go because you'll carry it with you and you'll get yourself in harm's way and you'll make life harder for you out here on the road. One thing I've learned out here is don't take anything personal. This is not about me. I won't be back. 10 times out of 10, the shipper I just left, the truck stop I just left, I'll never see these people again a day in my life. Why am I allowing you to upset me? And why am I taking you with me 3 cities or 5 states later down the road and I'm unloading on this person that I don't even know. So you need to decompress. Whatever you do, whether that's prayer, whether that's yoga, whether that's going to the gym, getting you a run, whether that's reading, watching you a movie, hitting your vape, you can't take no shots on the road. Smoke your cigarette or do whatever you do that's legal. But you have to find a way to decompress when it comes to your mental health, or else the road will not only break you, it will spit you up, chew you out, and you will be broken down when you come back. And you won't have any way to dispel it or even deal with it, because then you'll be dealing with the disrespect, the frustration, and the feeling guilty because you didn't navigate through it.
right. That's right. I think that last statement, you'll be feeling guilty because you know that like you said earlier, that it didn't have nothing to do with you. You all you did was walk up to the counter and say, "I'd like to get this," or "I
Yep.
need pump 7," So there's no way possible that you could have ignited unpleasant encounter with that person within those 2 seconds it took for you to walk up to that so it didn't have nothing to do with you, you know?
Bingo.
So, and I think that's in this culture, anger is the only acceptable emotion that people can emote. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, it's acceptable for me to snap and cuss somebody out, but
Mhm.
I'm a sucker if I decide to say, "Hey, you all right today?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I didn't approach you like that. So seriously, what's wrong?" It
Yep.
takes like 3 seconds. Is are you good? You
Yep.
know, and not saying in a sarcastic, like, "Are you good?" No, no.
Right. Are
You
you okay?
you don't know what that person get ready to do. They might get ready to go bring that hammer out their trunk and let loose. And
Ah.
just 2 seconds of you saying, "Hey, man, you alright?" It's gonna get better.
Yep.
Today is just today, tomorrow's ano that coulda saved thousands of people's life. You don't know what they was getting ready to do. I mean, seriously. Like,
Seriously.
since the pandemic, people's mental state it has just gone haywire. So you can't just assume because this person looks like they're functional and they're doing their job that they right up top. You don't know what is festering in their head. So,
Yeah.
let that carry you through, especially when you're on that road and you're going through places that people that look like you typically don't stay. That bad attitude, leave that bad attitude and that thug passion in your cab. When you come out that cab, please and thank you. If that's gonna give you another date, please, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Let that carry you in to the next. And that's what I'm talking about, emotional intelligence, understand and being situationally aware. Know
Mhm.
about your situation and aware of, okay, this ain't gonna pan out good for me, if I respond this way. It's
Yep.
not you have to have knowledge about who you are, where you're trying to go to know that entertaining that is not gonna be my best effort. So, another question I wanted to ask is because you said about the guilt, right? So,
Mhm.
how do you rebuild confidence after you make a mistake? Like how you said earlier, you didn't ran into a bridge or, you backed up and you punctured one of your tires or
Yeah.
something that's gonna be costly not only for you, but for the company that you're working. How do you bounce back from that and still keep going and not just throwing it down?
First thing first is recognizing that, especially that if you're new and even if you're an experienced driver, I think experienced drivers are more susceptible to trouble anyway because we're feeling overconfident. But
Ooh.
I don't need to get out and look. What you talking about? I've been driving for 15 years. I've been driving
Oh,
for 3 years. I got this. And then you end up like I tell my daughter, you're gonna f around and end up on Find Out Street.
right.
Then you end up on Find Out Street, and now you're feeling like, shoot, I fucked up. I'm not gonna be able to find a job right now. That guilt is killing you, or you a newbie and you're coming in and you've making minor mistakes, and or you even made a big mistake and you're feeling guilty about it. What I say about guilty is accept what you could have did better in there,
Right.
but move on from it.
Okay.
Yes, I messed up. What I should have did was got out and look. But I tell you what, from here on out, this is what I will do. Because sometimes mistakes are a beautiful thing because they help you become more aware. Like that mistake I had in New York.
Yeah.
From that moment on, no matter where I went upstate, I was looking at each end of the bridge, all three
Right?
sides of it. You know, I wasn't playing
I
around.
bet you were.
Because I could have lost my license just like that, and I was a newbie.
Yeah.
The career would have been over.
Yeah.
So I think it's more so about recognizing where you messed up at,
Yeah.
accepting it, accepting the fact that, hell, I'm not perfect. It's going to be issues that come my way. I'm not going to hit everything right every time. And also not going to do everything wrong every time. So take it as a learning lesson, keep it in the front and in the back of your head. And going forward, know that this happened this one time, but it's
Right.
not ever going to happen again. Don't ever make the same mistake twice. Because what that tells me is you didn't learn from the first time.
That's right.
And the next time, you might not get a chance to learn from it, babe. It might be your last day out here. So don't waste your time with guilt. Don't waste your time beating yourself up. I messed up. I hit this. I did that. Who cares? You alive? You okay?
Right.
All right. Figure out what you're gonna do from there. What's the steps you need to take to get back in the game and keep it moving. And remember what you did, what you could have did to prevent that, and make sure you do it going forward.
Right. That's right. I love that. That's so impactful and so powerful that, and I think that just translate into life, period.
Mhm.
Make a mistake, you can't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Society wants you to
Yep.
AKA the devil. He wants you to stay there because if he can keep you up underneath the thumb of feeling depressed or feeling like you're nothing, then guess what? You start making decisions where you're not really thinking it through, because you have this, well, I don't give a F. It didn't go right anyway, so I'ma
Yep.
just do me. But, you have to you have to love yourself enough to know that you are one person, you are human, and you are allowed to make mistakes, but you don't stay there. You learn from them, like you said. For example, I'll be 50 this year, and I decided in my late 40s I was going to try a new way of try to up my game, and that way, which was not God's way, I was completely out of line. It landed me a 6 month federally funded vacation, as I call it. Went to prison for 6 months.
Not you went on vacation.
Yeah, that was a vacation, baby. That was a negative point 0.2 star vacation.
Yes.
But, and I had to really when it first came down on me, I went through all the emotions, anger, beating myself up, you stupid, and blah 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 blah, because I've always been the one to preach, do the right thing, and
Mhm.
then the one time I did the wrong thing, that's what the end results were. But I had to go through the process with knowing that Jesus already knew, God already knew. You know what I'm saying? That's why he went to the cross for us. He took all sins. It's not just one. He took all of our sins, the ones that you do openly and the ones you do when you think ain't nobody watching. He took
Right.
all of those. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if he could, all he says you got to do is repent. You got to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Father, I messed up. I'm sorry. He like, bro, I already know. It's just like a parent.
Yep.
You knew when you put them cookies out there on that counter and you told your child, don't touch them.
They was
That's
gonna
a
search you.
child. That's the first thing they're going to do is go get one of them cookies.
Don't walk up the steps.
Exactly, exactly. So why beat them down for something you already knew they was gonna
Yeah.
do? And so I had to go through the process of forgiving myself. And that was like it felt like a force field that I put around
Mhm.
because you're gonna have people make comments like you, like not you.
Yep.
So, oh, you all for real? And then here come the jokes.
Yep.
But that force field, because I already forgiven myself. It's
Yeah.
nothing that nobody can say. That's why I'm so open about talking about it and how I'm rebuilding my life, and not being down in the dumps about it, because everybody make mistakes. And you trying to hide it, you just make it more and more apparent that that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So you gonna Google me anyway. I might as well tell my own story. You know what I'm saying? I'm tell
Right.
story. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So when you come back and think you're gonna try to embarrass me, have a seat right there
Yeah.
next to Satan, okay? Because that's what y'all need to be talking to each
Right.
me.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
over here doing me. But I always just try to share that story because I need people to know, like, it's no such thing as it's over. You got as many
Never.
chances as you willing to take. You know what I'm saying? It's no such thing as it being over. And if you don't love you enough to forgive you and you with you all day, why you
Yes.
think somebody else is gonna do it?
Yep.
You
You
know?
hit that on the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ain't nobody else gonna do it. You can't even forgive yourself and you with you all day.
Yep.
So I mean, love on yourself, learn from it, put the pride to the side, because a lot of that has to do with pride. You feel like you learned it, you should have it, and then you make one mistake. Every subject matter expert was a rookie.
Yep.
Everybody started off from the beginning.
Yes. Please say that again because so many truck drivers get in the comments and the first thing they say, "Oh, that's a rookie move." It's like, dude, I'm confused. Didn't we
Yeah,
start from the same place? Because you didn't
exactly.
start off with 15 years of experience.
That part.
And the only difference between you, me, and any other driver who's gonna go through this is that I wasn't so cowardly that I wasn't willing to show it.
That's right.
I showed it and I triumphed over it. And that same thing that hindered me is gonna stop someone else from coming into it because they'll see what Jay said. Hope did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that.
That part.
Like literally. So I think that's great.
That part right there. That part right there. My next question I wanted to ask you is, you being a beautiful melanated woman that's been in this industry for as long as you've
Thank
been
you.
into it. So I believe in giving my sisters flowers. I mean,
Well, I
listen,
can still smell them.
listen. But what
You're beautiful too, by the way. Yeah.
what challenges have you faced as being a female, attractive young woman out there
Mhm.
on the road? And how have you handled it? Because some of these women, I think they really need to understand, like, you need to prepare for what you are advertising, and stop making these men feel horrible for being who they are. Men. Yeah, that's like cussing a dog out for putting a steak in front of him and he starts salivating. You put a steak in front of
Confused.
a hungry dog and
Yep.
he's salivating. So can you
Yep.
speak that a little bit?
Yeah, and you know what? I actually did a video on that before too, because I noticed a lot of women would be so rude and disrespectful to men that they would encounter out on the road. First of all, women truck drivers isn't something that has been going on for 2 decades, 3 decades. This is fresh, uncharted territory. Now, don't get me wrong. There were women occasionally in trucking, but now women are coming in and knocking the door down. So even still, while I'm out here on the road, when I pull up to a truck stop, it's very seldom that I see another woman. So when I do, I'm always like, "Yeah, girl, we out here."
Right.
How still rare it is to see us. So when a man sees you get out that truck, for one, he impressed as fuck.
Right?
He's like, wait a minute. And you buy?
Right.
Wait a minute. You breaking every stereotype I thought about women.
Exactly.
So they're excited to see you. And most of them just want to congratulate you,
Yeah.
tell you they're proud of you, remind you that you're beautiful, keep doing your shit.
Yeah.
And some of them don't even mind connecting with you. Like, hey, this is my phone number. If you need anything out here on the road, if you get worried, you need to talk or anything like that, you can hit me up. All men that are out here aren't perverts. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of men don't even pay you no attention.
You really
You,
don't.
they so busy with filling a truck up, trying to get to their destination, their location. They ain't running around here trying to holler at you. You get a good, what's up, pretty girl? It's good through your shit. And they going on about their business. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a stereotype that needs to be changed as well. Because, and even if a man does say, hey, well, you're beautiful. Let me get your number. Let's talk. Let's see
Right.
where it goes. You don't have to take that as a form of him being a pervert. Maybe
Right.
you're a beautiful woman. Maybe you are his type. As long as he's not disrespectful with it,
Yeah.
and as long as he doesn't get disrespectful with you in those conversations, then what's the issue? And if a man compliments you, hey, you beautiful, that's you driving that truck. Because I see a lot of women, that's a source of aggravation for a lot of women. When men say, oh, that's you driving that truck, and they like, then you just see me get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, who pissed in your cornflakes? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me out here driving that thing. I'm living like that. Yeah, I'm out here. And they gonna smile and you gonna smile and you do the shit and we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
So that's how I interact with that. I don't take no offense. Even in my comments, girl, I get some of the most egregious things said to me. Will you just shut up and turn around? Just hit the like button and keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a man being a man, baby. I'm not tripping at you. I'm not
Good.
upset.
We
Yeah.
appreciate that. And ladies, please understand you have a responsibility. We are still in the days and time where there are a lot of heterosexual men that still like good looking women. And not to be disrespectful, but shoot, even the ones that aren't so good looking become good looking when you've been on the road for about 6, 7 weeks.
Right.
And if you're advertising, and I don't think, see, what happened is we got away from Big Mom. See, Big
Yep.
Mama would smack you on your tail and say, "I can see through your dress. Put a
Yep.
slip." Or your Big Mama would say, "Put on a girdle. You're jiggling too much." We
Yeah.
don't have no more Big Mom in the club
No.
right next to the grandma and you. And she out there showing you how to twerk and smack it, So
Yeah.
Imma pretend like I'm your Big Mom. Big when you out there, understand, yes, you have the right to wear your leggings with no drawers on and you know it's see-through. You have the right to do that. You have the right to put on your shirt with no bra on and your headlights is on like that. You got the right to walk like that. You do.
Yeah.
Else than ever. Stop beating down, specifically our black men. Stop beating them down with your words and calling them out their name because they are responding to your advertisement. You are advertising that you are sexually available,
Yep.
whether you know you're doing it or not. I'm gonna keep it
Yes,
100.
ma'am.
That's what you are advertising. You saying it's comfortable. Okay, cool. I get it. You got to be comfortable while you're driving, but understand you do not get the right to disrespect that man because he acknowledged what you're advertising. All you got to do, like Big Sis just said, all you acknowledge it like, hey, thank you, I appreciate it. Now, if he decides to get closer and you let him know you're not interested and he keeps pushing up, then let him have it because he asked for it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But from a distance, acknowledge it and keep it pushing, but keep your eyes open because he's now watching you. And he ain't the only one.
Yep. Bingo.
He ain't the only one watching you. There's some other ones they all watching you. They ain't saying nothing. He just was bold enough to say something.
Bingo.
So
Yep.
understand women. Yeah, especially these young women. I'm seeing them coming in 20, 19, 25, and you in the truck and you videoing, clapping your tail. But guess what? The truck next to you, he watching you on Instagram. He like, oh, that's her right there.
Bingo.
So be aware, and be aware. Just and stop beating our men down because now these men be so confused. Some of them might just want to say, they watch Cherry, and he might want to come and say, hey, I just watched one of your videos.
Yep.
And he don't know how she gonna respond because he got 20 other ones that called him out his name and said he was thirsty and
Yeah.
so he like he confused. He like, I wanna befriend her, but because there is a such thing of having a male friend, despite what people are saying across social
Yeah.
if you have self-control as a woman and you have self-control as a man. I have several men that are very attractive. Some of them are my exes, and they know they couldn't get a piece of pie if they wanted to.
Right. You set a boundary.
Exactly. We have a clear understanding. And because of that, their relationships have been better with the women that they date because they have
Yep.
a woman they could talk to and get true feedback. But that's a whole nother segment. But the point that I want to drive home is as women, truck drivers, just be conscious and cautious of the environments you're in. Wear clothing when you're out. If you
Yes.
gotta put on some sweatpants just to get out, pump your gas, go some sweatpants on. If the legs are more comfortable for you to drive in, then take your sweatpants off and get back and go about your business. Or accept what's gonna come with that advertisement. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I welcome your feedback, but you just gotta be aware. And I'm just getting tired of seeing men being confused when they just being themselves. The whole world, especially black men, the whole world tells them that them being black and them being who they are is wrong. And we can't keep supporting that. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a heterosexual man and he saw something that caught his eye. He's supposed to acknowledge it. He's supposed
Ex-
But I've kidnapped you for an hour, almost an hour and a half, Miss Cherry. It's Sunday, and I just, we can do this all day.
It's great. But I really appreciate you having me on.
It
Seriously.
it's been a blast. So I have one segment in my interviews that's called the lightning round, and you just respond to however you want to respond to my question. So, and then we'll go ahead and do our closing and let the people know how they can find you, right?
Okay.
All
So
right. So favorite truck stop,
loves
automatic or manual?
it.
All right. Day driving or night driving?
Day driving.
Okay. Favorite state to drive?
Say that again.
Favorite state to drive?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
My home where I
Right?
go to.
Right?
Yeah.
Most underrated trucking skill.
Ooh, my backing.
And you heard it here.
In there with it. Stop playing with me. You heard me? Yes, ma'am.
Final question. If you could sit down with every rookie truck driver before they picked up their first load, what's the one thing you tell them?
The best way to arrive is alive.
Period.
Best way to arrive. Don't worry, don't speed, don't be overwhelmed with what you got going on at home, life, your trip load, when you gonna get there, how long it's gonna take you to get there. The only thing that matter is that you arrive alive. Cause none of that other shit ain't gonna matter. You was late. None of that matters
That's right.
if you ain't make it there alive.
That's right.
Best way to arrive. And that's what I tell any rookie driver when they hit me in the comments and they say, hey, I'm just getting started driving. I'm taking my classes. I always hit them with I always hit them with them. Congratulations on your journey. Always remember the best way to arrive is alive. I'll see you on the road.
Right. That's right.
Don't forget it.
Well, Cherry, you have been a blast. I appreciate you so very much. And we
Thank
definitely
you.
gonna do this again.
Okay.
Definitely gonna have to have you back on and drop some more gems. But before we go, can you please let the people know how they can get in contact with you if they need a paid consultation?
The way how you do that in there.
Yeah, because I know you. You be on the
Yes.
phone for 6, 7 hours and then the person call you back tomorrow, ask the same darn gone question. We're not doing that in 2026, okay? We don't mind answering a few questions here and there, but listen, if
Right.
you want the whole game, you gotta pay me for my time.
He's obliged.
Now,
But
if they wanna get in contact with you and they need to support your platforms, YouTube, TikTok? Let them know
Mhm.
how they can do that.
Well, all of my, platform handles are the same, Come With Me Trucking. I have a TikTok, Come With Me Trucking, Instagram, my handle is Come With Me Trucking. I also am growing my YouTube page. I'm just doing, like, little shorts right now, but, that one is Come With Me Trucking as well, and if you need to reach out to me as far as consultations, you can hit me at my email, comewithmetrucking@gmail.com.
Well, again, I appreciate you so much for coming
Thank you.
on today. Thank you for joining us for
Yeah.
another episode of the UTL Trucking Education Hub podcast. And remember this, guys, you can make excuses or you can make progress, but you usually can't make both. Now, that's the trucking truth. Until next time.